Marilyn Mosby, once a rising star, now faces a life confined. The former Baltimore state's attorney, known for her tough stance on crime, found herself on the other side of the law. Her swift fall from grace has captivated the nation, a stark reminder that even those sworn to uphold justice are not above it. From the steps of the courthouse to the confines of her home, Mosby's story is one of ambition, controversy, and ultimately, the heavy hand of the law. Her election as Baltimore's top prosecutor ignited hope for change. She vowed to hold police accountable and fight for the marginalized. But her meteoric rise was soon overshadowed by controversy. Charges of perjury and making false statements on loan applications cast a long shadow over her career. The woman who pledged transparency and accountability was now accused of deception for personal gain. House arrest, a constant reminder of her transgressions, replaced the freedom she once enjoyed. The charges against Mosby stemmed from alleged financial improprieties, painting a picture of deceit that contradicted her public persona. Prosecutors accused her of lying about experiencing COVID-related hardship to access retirement funds, money used towards down payments on 2 vacation properties. This revelation struck at the heart of the public's trust, making her appear more concerned with personal gain than with serving the people. Further deepening the scandal were accusations of falsifying information on mortgage applications. These accusations, presented alongside evidence of lavish vacations and property acquisitions, painted a picture of someone seemingly living beyond their means, fueling suspicions of corruption. Mosby, however, maintained her innocence throughout the trial, her defense team countering that the charges were politically motivated. They argued that she was being targeted for her progressive policies and her high-profile prosecutions of police officers involved in the death of Freddie Gray. The guilty verdict sent shockwaves through Maryland's legal community and beyond, marking a stunning downfall for someone once considered a rising star. Mosby's law license was immediately suspended, effectively ending her career as a prosecutor. Beyond the courtroom, the professional consequences were equally severe. Mosby's conviction became a major political liability, with calls for her resignation echoing from both sides of the aisle. Her ability to effectively lead the Baltimore State's Attorney's Office was irrevocably compromised. The trust that is paramount for a prosecutor to command had been shattered, leaving her professional future in ruins. Her achievements, once celebrated as groundbreaking, were now viewed through the lens of suspicion. The legacy she had hoped to build lay in tatters. Mosby's story highlighted the importance of integrity and transparency in positions of power. Beyond the public humiliation and professional downfall, the case took a heavy toll on Mosby's personal life, turning her world upside down and leaving her family to grapple with the fallout. The constant scrutiny of the media, the whispers in her community, and the judgment cast upon her family became an inescapable burden. Mosby's husband, Nick Mosby, the city council president at the time, stood by her side throughout the ordeal. However, the scandal inevitably strained their marriage, subjecting their relationship to intense public scrutiny. The Mosby family's story is a poignant reminder that behind the headlines and legal battles are real people grappling with the very human cost of public disgrace. News of Mosby's conviction reverberated throughout Baltimore, a city grappling with its own deep-seated issues of crime and corruption. Many residents, already disillusioned by a system they perceived as rigged against them, saw Mosby's case as a betrayal of their trust. The very person elected to fight for justice seemed to have exploited the system for personal gain, further eroding public faith in those sworn to serve. The case ignited a firestorm on social media, with opinions sharply divided along political lines. Supporters rallied behind Mosby, maintaining her innocence and viewing the charges as a politically motivated witch hunt. Critics, however, saw the verdict as a long overdue reckoning. The case sparked a broader conversation about race and justice in America. Mosby's sentencing to home confinement ignited a debate about the disparities in the criminal justice system, particularly regarding white-collar crime versus offenses typically associated with marginalized communities. Critics argued that her punishment, while significant, paled in comparison to the lengthy prison sentences often handed down to individuals convicted of non-violent drug offenses or property crimes. The case highlighted the stark reality that justice in America often seems to operate on a two-tiered system. The wealthy and powerful often receive more lenient sentences than those without such resources. This disparity fuels a sense of injustice and erodes public trust in the fairness and impartiality of the legal system. Mosby's case served as a lightning rod for these frustrations, prompting calls for sentencing reform and a more equitable application of the law. Despite the guilty verdict, questions lingered about the fairness of Mosby's trial and the motivations behind the prosecution's pursuit of the case. Her defense team maintained that she was targeted for her political beliefs and her high-profile prosecutions of police officers involved in the death of Freddie Gray. They argued that the prosecution's case was built on shaky ground, relying heavily on circumstantial evidence and the testimony of witnesses with questionable motives. Adding to the controversy was the revelation that the lead prosecutor in Mosby's case had donated to her political opponent, raising concerns about potential bias. The lingering questions surrounding Mosby's case served as a reminder that the pursuit of justice is not always straightforward or free from political influence. Marilyn Mosby's case serves as a cautionary tale, a stark reminder that those who wield the power of the law are not above it. Her fall from grace underscores the importance of integrity, transparency, and accountability for those entrusted with upholding justice. It serves as a sobering reminder that the pursuit of power and ambition can come at a steep price, particularly when ethical boundaries are crossed. Mosby's story is a stark contrast between the promise she once embodied and the reality of her conviction. The case highlights the delicate balance between upholding the law and the potential for abuse when personal gain becomes entangled with public duty. Mosby's actions eroded public trust in the very institution she represented. Her story serves as a stark reminder that public service is a privilege, not a right, and that those who betray the public's trust must be held accountable. Mosby's journey from prosecutor to the prosecuted serves as a valuable lesson for aspiring leaders and seasoned officials alike. Confined to her home, stripped of her law license and facing an uncertain future, Mosby began the arduous task of rebuilding her life. House arrest, while not a prison cell, carried its own set of restrictions and challenges. Her movements were monitored, her interactions limited, and her daily routine dictated by the terms of her sentence. The transition from public figure to private citizen was abrupt and jarring. Despite the challenges, Mosby sought solace in her family, her husband and daughters becoming her anchor in a world turned upside down. Life under confinement offered Mosby a chance for introspection, a time to reflect on the choices that led to her downfall and to chart a new course for her future. The woman who once commanded attention in courtrooms now found herself confined to the four walls of her home, her days measured by the quiet rhythm of domesticity. House arrest, with its restrictions and routines, became an opportunity for Mosby to redefine herself outside the realm of law and public scrutiny. Stripped of her former identity as a prosecutor, she sought solace in the familiar rhythms of family life, devoting her time to her husband and daughters. The woman who once commanded attention in courtrooms now found purpose in the simple joys of motherhood. Beyond the domestic sphere, Mosby explored avenues for personal and professional growth. She dedicated herself to writing, pouring her experiences and reflections into a memoir, a raw and honest account of her rise, fall, and the arduous journey of rebuilding her life. Through her writing, she sought to reclaim her narrative, to share her truth with the world, and to inspire others facing their own personal challenges. Mosby's story, though marked by tragedy and adversity, is ultimately one of resilience and reinvention. Marilyn Mosby's case, with its intricate legal battles, political undertones, and broader societal implications, serves as a microcosm of the complexities and contradictions inherent in the American justice system. It lays bare the deep divisions within society, the erosion of trust in institutions, and the ongoing struggle to reconcile the promise of equal justice for all with the realities of a system often perceived as biased and unfair. The case ignited passionate debates about race, class, and privilege, highlighting the systemic inequalities that permeate the justice system. Mosby's supporters viewed her prosecution as a blatant example of the double standards often applied to black officials, while her detractors saw it as a victory for accountability. The case also exposed the fragility of public trust in those entrusted with upholding the law. Marilyn Mosby's story, though deeply personal, transcends the individual, offering a glimpse into the soul of a nation grappling with its own demons.